Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of Beyond the Deal. Today's episode, we are going to be talking about physical and mental health and habits as it relates to entrepreneurship. And we've got some exciting things going on. First of all, it's a beautiful sunny day in Phoenix. It's been raining all last week, so we haven't been able to get to the golf course, but here we are today. It's about 70 degrees, and it is beautiful. We also got new clubs today, and that's exciting. All right, so enjoy today's episode. We've got some exciting changes coming to the podcast soon. It might not actually be a podcast much longer. We might have a new name, and we might actually be reverting it to more of a full YouTube golf and entrepreneurship show. So stay tuned. It's going to be an exciting episode. So, Mike, I'm sure that even in your previous life, health was probably somewhat important to you, but as an entrepreneur, was there a moment that you realized that taking care of your physical health actually meant success in business?
Actually, the reason I got into this business was because of health. I don't know if you recall before we met back 5, 6 years ago, or 7 years now. I actually had chest pains,
Mm,
and I was under 40 at the time. Went to see a cardiologist, and passed with flying colors as far as the markers, but described to him what I did as a job, and that's when I was a business manager, VP, and he said your job stress is what's causing this, and if you want to be here for your kids, you should probably change jobs.
mm,
And it actually was this light that went off, and um, I was like, what else should I do?
right.
And so it got me thinking about real estate and just exploring other options. Being an entrepreneur, which brings its own level of stress, right?
Right.
100%. But that corporate stress, and that was really eating at me. And it was also a happiness factor too. So I think when you talk about business health and wealth and all the things that come, it's what are the things that make you happy? And while we work really hard now, it's a different kind of stress. And
Absolutely.
now I've also found more time to take care of myself,
Yeah.
right?
For me, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 25. And I remember in the very beginning that, I was 25. If I wanted to wake up at 10 a.m., nobody was making me get up earlier, right? And I loved it in the beginning because there was no rigidity to my schedule. I could do whatever I want. But at a certain point, I realized that building that schedule into my life was exactly the thing that was driving progress in the business. So I'd wake up every morning and I'd start working out. And I realized that gave me a lot of mental clarity and focus for the rest of the day. And, despite the fact that nobody was forcing me to get up at a certain period of time, I started waking up every day at 6 and 7 in the morning. And now I couldn't sleep past that if I even wanted to. Maybe that's just a part of getting older, but it's absolutely crucial in your focus for the business. What was the very first habit that you changed that really made a noticeable difference in your physical or mental health?
It's what you talked about earlier is getting up. I was used to getting up at 5, 6 in the morning anyway, but I wasn't exercising. I'd get up, go to work, grab a coffee. And the one thing that changed once I became, decided to go to the entrepreneurial route is getting up and working out.
Yeah.
So getting that 45-minute workout sweat in, it really cleared the day and it really helped me take on the day because there was all this anxiety that you would be feeling sometimes right before you get up,
Yeah.
right? Because you're thinking about all the things you got to get done, and that working out really kind of helps clear the mind, gives you that restart. You get in, you get the stuff done, and so by 8 o'clock, I can get to work.
Right. And if anybody's ever actually watched this show before, one question that I ask a lot of entrepreneurs is how well do you sleep? Because it is a very, very common thread amongst entrepreneurs that there's just a million thoughts running through your head at all times of the day, usually in the middle of the night. Sometimes you might wake up in the middle of the night thinking about something you have to do for the business. And so for me, it actually took a long time to fix my sleep, and we'll talk about that in a later question, but I'm going to echo what you said. The morning routine was actually really, really crucial for me. I read a book called Miracle Morning. It's a little bit culty, I have to say, for the people who follow it. There's about 6 things that he says you should do right when you wake up every morning. And I followed it religiously for probably a month or two. And I don't do it anymore, but just that 1 month was enough to actually completely restructure the way that I approach my day and my mental health and everything about it. So I highly recommend that book. All right, Mike, obviously we are out here golfing right now,
Yes, we are.
which is an important part of both physical and mental health. We're not walking today, but if you were, you'd be getting a lot of steps outside, which is,
We're getting
a great
vitamin D
thing.
though.
But it's hard to film and walk at the same time. So, um, what would you say is your approach to exercise? Like, what are your key components in your routine?
Yeah, great question. So always try to work in some lifting heavy. It's been important. So 2 to 3 days a week at least doing some the breakdown. You got legs, chest, shoulders, and I'm getting into kettlebells a lot. So doing a lot of kettlebell stuff, which ends up giving you kind of whole body workouts. Those are a little more efficient, so from a timing standpoint, but I do like to do the isolated, specific muscle exercises as well. And then where I haven't been good, Michael, is the cardio side. So
Yeah,
even though I'm doing weightlifting, you do need to, especially when you hit over 40 and onward, you got to work in some more cardio. So I bought a weighted vest. So I'm like a 40-year-old woman walking around with a weighted vest in the mornings.
you got the armbands too.
And of course of course I'm tracking. Yeah, I'm not doing the armbands, but it's a 20-pound vest, and I try to get my 7-8,000 steps just doing that, plus regular walking around. So I'm trying to hit the 10,000 plus a day, plus some kind of a gym workout on a daily basis.
Right. I have a counterintuitive gym philosophy here, which is that I only work out twice a week. And granted, bear in mind that I am somebody who used to go to the gym 5 or 6 times a week all throughout my 20s. I had all the craziest bro splits, shoulders on Fridays, chest on Tuesdays, legs on Wednesdays, the whole thing. And I only go to the gym twice a week right now, and I am in the best shape of my life. And the secret is a full body workout every single time. So all those exercises that you hate doing that are just really heavy that you'd rather go do some bicep curls, no, you're going to do squats, you're going to do deadlifts, you're going to do pull-ups, you're going to do bench press, all of the heaviest, most compound exercises, full body twice a week. Lift like a freaking high school football kid, and it will make a difference in your life.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Hey guys, pardon my sweatiness, but I just want to take this moment to thank our first official sponsor of Beyond the Deal. That's right, it is going to be the Country Club Mastermind. I've recently become affiliated with this organization, and I'm a really, really big fan of what they do. This is a mastermind for entrepreneurs who are interested in golf. There's a huge element of golf coaching involved. We get weekly goals. The founder of the organization is a guy who almost went to the Masters, so he's really going to be able to help you with your game. But more than that, you get access to the network of like minded individuals, entrepreneurs, people who are able to help you in business. These are 6, 7, 8 figure guys who can really help you go where you're trying to get going. So if you are interested, go ahead and click the link down in the description below and learn more about how to join the country club.
All right, Michael. So in the world of entrepreneurship, it's sometimes easy to lose motivation or discipline. How do you stay on task? How do you keep it moving?
Yeah, so I would describe myself as a highly ADHD person. So discipline has never in my entire life been my strong suit. Um, but I would say that one thing I am very, very good at is knowing what needs to be done and knowing that it has to get done somehow. And so the way throughout my life that I've been able to actually get things done is by leveraging the power of others. So making sure that I never feel like I'm totally on an island and knowing that if something needs to get done, but I'm not the person who's going to do it, then I need to hire someone who is. I did that when we were collecting all these leads, and I knew that there was hundreds of our leads in our database that needed to get cold called. And I remember just looking down that list and thinking, I know these people need to get called. Why can't I make myself do it? But what do? We hired a VA, paid her, we trained her how to call down our list, and then we got highly qualified appointments booked in my calendar. So actually, what I did is shortcut the need for discipline and create a system that actually hacked the end result.
Yeah, that works really well.
Not bad.
Well, that wasn't too bad.
What left?
A little left, but that's usually what I do.
All right, so we touched on this a little earlier, but I want to get a little bit more into the weeds here about what are the key elements of my morning routine um, that I think prime my whole day for success. So if you read The Miracle Morning, he says that you should exercise, read, write, meditate, visualize, and something else, honestly. Affirmations, maybe. I can't remember. I really don't do much of that anymore, but I have a few key things that I've adopted from watching Andrew Huberman, things like this that I think are really important. So the first thing I do is I don't look at my phone. That is so difficult because as an entrepreneur, you wake up in the morning, there's all these notifications, there's all these things that you need to check on. Just don't do it. Second thing that I do is I wait 30 minutes before I have coffee and I try to get some sunlight in my eyes. So I'll go walk outside and actually let my circadian rhythm naturally balance out with real sunlight, and I'll wait at least 30 minutes. Because believe me, that urge to just get up and make coffee has been there my whole life, but I avoid it. Um, so I get outside, I get some sunlight in my eyes, and then I'm going to do something productive. For me, that's Duolingo. I like learning languages. I'm trying to be fluent in Spanish, so I'll do 30 minutes of Duolingo, then I'll make my coffee. And now, if you think about it, the first 30 minutes to an hour of my day has been completely stress free, right? That primes me for success for the rest of the day. And only after I do all of those things will I then check my phone, start looking at emails, start looking at text, start looking at notifications.
That
Hey,
would
really quick, if you do like this kind of content, I would appreciate it immensely if you could like, comment, and subscribe. There is a future version of this podcast where we could have higher video production quality. We could get paid to travel around and golf with really great entrepreneurs and other investors and other types of even golf professionals. So, your support can help get us there. So, if you do like this content, I would appreciate it immensely if you could like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.
well, you mashed it,
Yeah, that's a little left, but
yeah.
it'll do. All right, so we just finished 9 holes with a whopping score of 49. So technically, if I was playing 18, I would have broken 100, but that was a very, very generous 49, maybe some loose counting in there. So we're not going to quite count that. But we're going to continue anyways with the questions. We're going to backfill. You know, it's a little hard to record these when other people are behind you, but we do our best. So the next question is going to be about nighttime routine. Is there anything that I do to prime myself for the next day? Well, the most important thing is that I go to bed at the exact same time every night. I'm pretty much never awake past 10. And my body is awake at exactly the same time every day, and it's going to get tired at exactly the same time every night. The other thing I do is I really do try to limit my screen time or at least my exposure to blue light at night. The way that I do that is with blue light glasses. They're like $5 on Amazon. Get yourself a pair. Try to avoid screens for at least like 2 hours before bed. Try to avoid really bright lights in the house. All of these things can help with a good quality of sleep. And then the other thing that I've been doing lately is actually sleeping with the windows open because it's about 50 degrees at night in Phoenix, and I like my room feeling like an icebox. It makes me sleep like a baby. So, what is some advice that I want to leave you all with? Well, changing my physical health and my habits and my routine has completely changed the way that I run my business, and it's affected my productivity and my mental clarity throughout the day. So, if I could leave you with one challenge, I think the thing that I would challenge you to do is exercise at least 2 times a week, full body exercise, get up at the same time every day, and go to bed at the same time every night. And if you can just do those few little things, report back to me. Tell me if you notice a major, major difference in your life. All right.